welcome back to Kingdom Girls Podcast. My name is Sarah.
My name is Melissa.
I'm Kezia.
I'm Esther.
Okay, so on today's episode, we're going to discuss whether ministers should be paid when being invited to a church or an event.
Ooh.
It's a topic.
Kezia, on to you.
Straight up.
No wasting time.
Okay, so I'm gonna go first. So I personally think, again, I can only speak for what I believe.
Okay.
I think it depends. So, for example, if a minister is working full time and of course they don't do any other jobs or side hustles, I believe maybe they should be paid. But if it's more of like a side, like they have a main job and it's more like a part-time ministering job, then I think maybe actually that's quite actually that's quite yeah. Sorry, shall we start again?
No,
yeah, because I just really I think it's quite hard to say, because if you're paying some, then you have to pay everyone for ministry. You can't just pay some that are going full time and the ones who are only doing it part time. You're not paying them.
Like lay
ministers, for example. Yeah. So I don't know what you guys think. I think we need a specific example.
So, like, should a singer be paid when being invited to a church or like a church program, or should the instrumentalists that are being hired being paid? Is that more specific then?
Yeah, I think that's specific. Because in that case, for me specifically, I don't even want to make it about church, but if it's like they're from a different church altogether, I think maybe they can support, like with transport, maybe accommodation, things necessary for them to come. Because at the end of the day, that minister has sacrificed their time. So, and they have been invited. They could have chosen not to, but they have. So I think in that case, yeah. But if it's the same church, that's when it gets a bit tricky for me. I personally would say no. Because at the end of the day, we are ministering unto God. We're not doing unto man. And I believe our reward will be in heaven. And then to me, I kind of think of if I'm fasting, if I'm praying and I don't get paid for it, if I'm ministering, why should I get paid for it? Okay. That's just what I believe.
Sorry, just to clarify what we mean by ministers. Ministers, everybody who serves in the church, whether being an usher, a bishop, a pastor, a reverend, a singer, an instrumentalist, whatever title you got, that's what a minister is. That's what we said a minister is. Esther, you had a face on.
I'm just listening to you guys.
No, I feel like you have something to say.
You do. I don't know. For me, I think.
Yeah. Go there. Holy Spirit, take over.
I don't think there's anything wrong with paying ministers. I say that because I do ministry and most people don't know what goes into it, the cost that goes into it, the sacrifices that go into it, the unseen things that people have to give up and turn down. And I believe, of course we can pay for the accommodation and things like that, and that's nice, but some of these people have turned down a lot and have given a lot, because in the face value it just looks like, oh, but we've transported you here, like what more do you need? But there's a lot in ministry that goes on behind the scenes that many don't know. So I personally don't think there's anything wrong with paying ministers. I was just looking for a scripture, and the Bible does say in 1 Timothy 5:18, the Bible talks about how the laborer is worthy of his reward. The worker is worthy of his wages. And I believe that a lot of ministers, there's a lot of time that goes into preparation. There's a lot of investment that goes into preparation, even just attending singing classes, piano classes, even attending conferences. Pastors go to conferences, they travel to conferences just so that they can equip themselves and prepare and become the people we celebrate now. So there's a lot that goes into it, and I think someone that has proved themselves as a worthy worker is worthy of payment. However, I don't think that they should do it for payment.
So that was gonna be my question. Like,
Yeah.
my question is, would you say that ministers should demand?
I was gonna.
That was demand, or should it be up to the church to pay an honorarium?
Yeah.
Or
I think the church needs to honor and
Yes.
Yeah.
celebrate people.
Yeah.
I think sometimes the church doesn't do that. That's why you find a lot of them decided to go in the world and go to do music in the world, because they've seen the world seems to value their gift more. So I think the church needs to come to a place where maybe before it didn't really work, but the honest truth is the world we're living in now, cost of living, blah 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 blah.
the bills in cheap.
Do you know what I mean? So I think the church should take it upon themselves.
Yeah.
If you've invited somebody,
honor.
value their honor.
Yeah.
Even if they serve in the church, I don't think they should do it for payment.
No.
But if the church decides that, okay, as a church, within our capacity, it's not like we're breaking the bank and it's like we're, you know, within our capacity, we've seen this value in you. And it's not so much a payment, it's just a way of sowing a seed
Yes. that's
into
the
your
one.
life. So the money we give you may not be enough to pay your rent and all that, but we're sowing a seed into your life.
Yeah.
And depending on how much you've invested, your excellence, the leading of the Lord, we're investing into. I think churches should do that. However, I don't think people should demand it.
But I
As
want-
in they
yeah,
themselves is like,
yeah, that's what I
I
was gonna
want
say.
this.
Yeah.
I think the onus has to be
Yeah.
on the church to recognize that this
Yes.
person's worthy of honor.
Yes.
Like, don't make people uncomfortable and that's why sometimes people actually ask for it, because
Yeah.
people take people for granted. You'll be so shocked how somebody will invest so much, will travel, pay for their own ticket, they'll come, and they won't even give them a single thing. And then that's why sometimes some genuine people, they have to make it clear in the get-go that I need this, I need that, because it's not because they're greedy or bad, it's just because they've endured a lot of abuse and people taking advantage of them, and you'll be shocked how people do that.
Yeah.
So I don't think we should allow people to get in that position where they feel like they need to demand. However, and I also don't think that people should turn down things just because of payment. If God has led you to turn down an invitation, fair enough. But if you then say, oh, because they're not paying me, but God wants me to go, then you decide that that's
I got a question
between you and
again.
God.
So my question is, honorarium, should it always be monetary, or could it be gift? Well, that's one. Also, if you were to invite a guest and they demand certain things, I don't know, sleep in a 5-star hotel,
Business class.
business class, in fact,
Fancy car.
fancy cars. As a church, should you like turn down that, like you invited them, but because of their demands, should you turn down, I don't want to do it because you're charging too much, or should you still honor it? Like, still like, honor the demands. So honorarium payment, is it always money? And should the church or a pastor turn down, like withdraw rather the invitation because the person that they invited are demanding too much? I was literally
Quiet.
honorarium first. Okay, let's just have an honorarium.
Does it have to be money?
Hey guys. Yeah, I've been trying to think about this question. I don't think I've developed an opinion.
Okay.
That's why I've been trying to listen. I don't want to just say anything that's just. But I think can I go to the main question?
Yeah.
Okay. And then you can come back.
Yeah. So with paying, for me, I think I see it as first of all honor. So if you invited someone, it means that God has led you to invite that person. Are you gonna honor that person at the end and say, okay, we appreciate you? Because even though some people they may not say it, but you just saying, okay, I'm honoring you, is a way of not even planting a seed into their life, but you're also planting a seed into your life. So for me, I don't know about seeing it as a payment yet, but I see it as an honor. But also I agree with Esti that, there's a lot that goes on behind ministry, and sometimes I think because people don't see that part, they will think, okay, it's fine, they'll just come, do what they're gonna do, and we just give them this little that we have. But sometimes it's important to give value to the people, and to even say, oh, this one is for, maybe the way you say it, maybe this one is for the roads. You know, this one is for the roads. Maybe if you don't want to, if you don't want to make the person uncomfortable, because if the person, the way I say, if the person is led by God to come, and if you as a church or as a ministry that you invited the person are led by God to invite the person, then there should be some level of, I don't know where I'm going. Like I said, I've not developed an opinion yet, but there should be like a level, okay, we honor this person. You know, we're gonna try to make sure that this person is as comfortable, they have everything that they need because they're coming to bless us. And, you know, as a person as well, because if sometimes money can limit a lot of things, you know.
It can.
It can limit a lot of
Money is
things.
needed in life.
So,
I think sometimes the reason why a lot of people have a bit iffy is because they hear about ministers that don't charge, and they then use that as a yardstick for everybody else. Sometimes though, some of these ministers that don't charge, you see, everyone's on a different journey with God. It was their personal conviction not to charge, and God has blessed them so much that it's like, I don't need your charging. But then you also have some people, they're just uprising and upcoming. There's nobody giving them monthly offerings. Like, just to say it in like a, let's be real, there's nobody giving them offerings, and they need to pay their instrumentalists, because a lot of the times people think it's just them. These people are bringing instrumentalists, and do you know what the instrumentalists are charging? Like, so sometimes it seems like, why are you being greedy and all these things? But we can't use one person's own conviction with God and say, but why you know. But to your question, we've not forgotten your question. Should it just be money?
Dun, dun, dun.
Can I just clarify what I said before as well? So when I answered the question, I was like, I don't believe that they should be paid. I was kind of putting myself as a minister. If I was a minister, just for me myself, I wouldn't ask for people to pay for me, because I personally would be doing it for God. But again, this obviously changes depending on the distance, depending on, obviously, again, is it not that I want to make about church, but is it like within the church or is it another church? Because I feel like it does have some sort of impact. So it depends on a lot of things, and it depends what type of minister you are as well. And again, it's like, is it full time? Is it part time? But having said that, I do agree with the point you guys made about, as a church, we have to honor. Obviously, these are things that as a Christian you should do. But as a minister, I wouldn't want to be paid, because I feel like I personally now, my mind will go on the money, and I don't want that. So to protect myself, I would say, okay, you don't pay me. Obviously, I would do what I can. So for example, if maybe they invited me, like let's say, guys, invite her. In America, Australia, do I have the money for it? Maybe I'll have to be open and be like, okay, will you be able to contribute or to help me find a location? You know, you have to be honest about things. But as a church, definitely you have to honor. Definitely you have to provide, accommodation and whatnot. Does it have to be business class? I don't think so. Does it have to be 5-star hotel? For me, I don't think so. I don't think so. But that's just me, though.
No, I agree. So going back to
sorry, your question. Okay, I'll answer for me. I think unless you've been led by God to say, okay, maybe buy this person shoes or buy this person something, I think money is the best gift, because they can always do it. They can always buy whatever they want to buy with the money. That just,
because also like quite tricky. Like, you're going to buy shoes, what? That's not your style.
Exactly.
Or do you know what's quite famous now? I don't like it.
Hampers.
You know those portraits.
Ooh,
no, this is gonna sound so controversial. No, I like it when I see it for other people.
Yeah,
but I don't think if someone, I don't like seeing my face. It's not in my room, and when I started out, my face. You wake up with it. If it was me and somebody, okay, fair enough. But
I get it.
but it's just me being silly.
Yeah.
But I agree with what you said, because
Yeah.
Some people like try and find out from the pastor's assistant or the minister's assistant, like, oh, what do they need? And yes, it would be nice to buy them what they actually need, but it's easier for you to give them money than they can, because they might need a kettle.
Exactly.
But what if they want a kettle from I don't know,
Argos.
Yeah.
Argos? He bought him so you go wrong. So just give them money. It's easier and
But can I just add to that? Sometimes, and I think it's because of the, a lot of pastors, they have a shepherdorial heart. I understand why sometimes they don't just give them money, they give them something, because what you find is, obviously, there are people that the burden of their people is so much that money you give them, it's not even gonna make it. It's not even gonna make it. In fact, as it's sending, it's like you send it back, it's going somewhere. So I agree, money definitely. But if God leads you to add something that's appropriate, then fair enough. Because people, especially pastors, they're always giving. Even birthday money, giving. Like some people, I know some pastors. You don't give them money. Yeah, give them money. Don't get me wrong. Give them money. But if you want something just for them, you have to do something else. Otherwise, you see that money you've given them, it's paying somebody's school fees, and which is a blessing.
Yeah.
But we also want to look after our men and women of God. But I think to your question about should
quickly,
the churches to add,
I draw the invitation.
I think first of all, churches be wise. I say that because you see a church that's just 1 year old and the members are like 20.
That's true.
Why are you going to
Where's
try
the money?
and invite
Bishops
somebody? Like, let's be humble. And I remember I think it was Apostle Joshua Selman, I once listened to a preaching that he did on this, and it's so true. Humble yourself, respect and honor the stage you're at. Don't think, because this man of God is anointed and everybody loves them. You break the bank, you put the members under pressure, everyone's born alone, and then you make the person look like they're unrealistic, but genuinely it's not even that bad. It's just you're not there yet. So find local uprising ministers who are rising, and that could even be a platform for them to rise. I feel like a lot of people, we want what's ready-made already. Sometimes invite uprising. Cut your coat according to your size. I remember when I went to Tanzania, there were some people I didn't even bother inviting because I know I can't afford it. I can't, honestly, because I don't want to then feel uncomfortable. It's like, I haven't been able to honor you as well. It really makes you feel bad. So you just find people that are still anointed. I'm not saying you go for rubbish just
anybody.
But also, if God has led you, as in God has said, invite that person, even if you don't have the physical capacity yet. Trust God. If it was God, not your feelings. Trust God to make a way. You just never know how that person would be like. I was just praying and God led me to come and visit your church, and that's God making ways. So please be wise.
I guess that's a wrap, isn't it?
Be wise.
Be wise.
Wisdom is the
Principal thing.
Come on.
wisdom.
Principal.
Come on,
thing.
choir.
The altos and the sopranos.
I'm not in choir. You're the choir.
I left the choir.
Well, that's a wrap, guys.
I love the choir. No, but she's still selling loud.
I'm an airport star.
Let's just that sounded like it's like I'm good. She's serving.
She's in a welcoming team.
Yeah.
She's welcome to with a smile.
See that smile.
But I think that's a wrap, as you said. And please subscribe, share, comment, share. As in share. And also thumbs up, because that's helped us to be visible to other people. So please actually do put a thumbs up and comment if you have any questions, if you have any points of view, please share, and then we will respond to your questions or points of view. But
And also follow us on our TikTok and our Instagram.
Our media madam. Say it.
Pass her the mic.
Yeah.
Really, we give you really?
Oh no, but quickly tell them our pages so that.
Yeah, guys, let me say it correctly. One second.
Yeah. Correct information. No pressure.
Okay, guys, I'm there.
TikTok.
So, our
A moment
Instagram.
later.
Our Instagram is called 4 Kingdom Girls.
That's it.
1, 2, 3, 4. In case you were wondering,
Yeah, 1, 2,
there's 4 of us.
4 Kingdom Girls. All small letters. No and no full stop. Just
You just wanted to give us a shout out. All of this is going on.
It's taking longer than
One assignment. Yeah, one instruction.
and our TikTok page is the same one, guys.
Guys, if after this point you don't follow us, you're in trouble.
We'll pin it. We'll pin it. Yes.
Please listen to her. Yeah.
It's gonna be in the description.
Yes,
That's what she meant. Too much going on.